turn it down a couple degrees so it turns off. Everyone, please stand to attention. And salute. 2. Chaplain, please uncover. Chaplain will offer us a prayer.
Heavenly Father, I come before you tonight in throne of grace, by your mercy. Just to let you know how much we appreciate what you do for us each and every day. And I know there are things we should be doing for others would be your will. I pray tonight that you'll guide and direct all the activities that take place tonight at this meeting. Bless our commander. He's been doing a great job, Lord, but you know that already, long before I do. Bless us now as we go about this meeting. For everything that is said in that night, bring honor and glory to yourself. For it's that time of year when we remember when you came and the gift that you gave us. For it's in Christ's name I pray. Amen. Amen. That's right.
All right, remain uncovered. Recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The POW table is to my left. Let's have a quick moment of silence for all of them. All right, everyone, please recover. Recite the preamble. For God and country, we associate ourselves together for the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to maintain law and order, to foster and perpetuate a 100% Americanism, to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in all wars, to inoculate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation, to combat the autocracy of both the classes and the masses, to make right the master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit to posterity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, to consecrate and sanctify our comradeship by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. You may be seated. Now declare American Legion Post 3, Department of Virginia, regularly convened. Ryan, do you have the minutes of the executive meeting?
I did.
All right.
Meeting was called to order at 5 o'clock. Reading of the financial minutes for November. Motion to approve the financial report was made by Brian Whitten, seconded by Roy Carpenter. Motion passed. New business. The code drive was very successful. We had about 25 individuals at the Shriners Gazin Temple. Afterwards, we took the remainder of the codes to Frame, who held an event at AMVETS for homeless veterans. We took all the coats and we got rid of them at that event. Let's see. The DAB is under national investigation. They are still in a lot of trouble. We had to spend $800 to cut down 2 trees that were going to fall into parking lot. On our security system, 3 cameras have failed. The commander got 2 bids, one from ADT for $2,610, another one, and that would add an additional 2 cameras. The second one is from Security Consultants for $3,735. That does not include the monthly fee. The monthly fee is for monitoring. ADT is $180. Security Council or Consultant is $375 a month. We will check into the cost if we got cameras and installed them ourselves, but that will come after we do the budget for the upcoming year. Bingo for veterans at the VA will start January 9th at 6 p.m. It costs $225 for prizes, pizza, and drinks. We will consider doing it quarterly, but that will also be included into the budget. Oratorical, all the packets have went out. Only interest so far is from Cave Spring. The post is on January 29th. Districts is February 7th. And then there'll be regional February, I believe, 20th. State is in March, but I don't have the date for that. Let's see, boys and girls state. Last year we did 4 girls and 10 boys at $500 a piece. It comes out of the Jeff Durham Fund. Motion to send 4 girls and 10 boys again this year at $500 a piece by Richard Small, seconded by Roy Carpenter. Motion passed. We're going to start doing a budget and starting January 1st for the 2024 year. Motion was made to pay for the Christmas dinner with the date and time to be determined by Ken Stoller. Herb McBride seconded. Motion passed. Let's see. We need a commander and staff for next term, which begins in June. Nominations are due in March to begin with the selection process. In closing remarks was congratulations to the Scouts and members of the Post and Riders for helping with the flag retirement ceremony this past Saturday.
Thank you, Brian. One of the things we have to talk about on the boys' state and girls' state, we did agree to send the 10 boys and the 4 girls. We are going to go to the corporation board to decide where that money is going to come from. The corporation board meeting will be on January 24th. Membership dinner will be paid by the American Legion. We will invite all members and their family and some guests. This will happen on December 22nd. We'll probably do it at 5 p.m. We are going to require that this be an RSVP event. We need you to respond. This will help us with the number of tables and chairs we need to set up, and also will help Amy knowing how much food she has to make. She gets a little upset. So, Brian, if you would put that out to everybody, it would be great. Ken, want to talk about the coat drive a little bit?
Come up here so that way I won't have to keep switching back and forth. Okay, we did our coat drive and it was extremely successful. We were able to assist approximately 25 people. Due to the rain, because it was raining all day that day that we did the coat drive. But all in all, it was successful. The remainder of the coats went to Frame up on Bent Mountain. Every year, they do a Thanksgiving dinner for homeless vets and the homeless population. All those coats went down there, and that was extremely successful. Our first vice, Brian, him and his wife went down to assist with that, and they had people there giving the homeless folks haircuts and everything. So all in all, it was real successful. I appreciate everybody that donated. Yes. And the Post donated $200 for 6 turkeys, and the Riders donated $200 for 6 turkeys. So 12 turkeys were donated for that Thanksgiving meal downtown. All in all, very successful. Okay, the coat drive. We have Debbie Grogan here, who is representing Cardinal IG, a business out in Benton, correct? They donated 72 coats to us. So if you would, just give her a round of applause. And speaking of Debbie, we have a presentation where if you would step up next to the flag. Here we have, excuse my back. Here we have a letter of appreciation for Cardinal IG from the American Legion Riders and the American Legion Post 3. Thank you.
All right, we do have some guests with us. A visitor from South Carolina, Charles Lord. Please stand up and introduce yourself, Charles.
I'm Charles Lord. I moved here in January, and I'm looking to join your post. I was a member of Post 66 in York, South Carolina. I was the adjutant there, and look forward to being up here, getting involved in the new post.
Yeah, we look forward to having you, Charles. Appreciate you a lot.
One quick note, I was in the Air Force, and I was with the 1st Combat Squadron of Warhawks.
All right, cool. All right, from the Salem Fire Department, we have Todd Badwell and Robert Paxton over here. They're going to be talking to us after the meeting about fire safety for Christmas. So y'all hang around after the meeting for that vital information. A lot of good information they have with us. They have. Yes. Okay.
You want me to give her a rider report?
Yes, please.
I thought Brian was gonna do it, but he chickened out.
Okay, over the past couple days, the riders have been extremely busy. You heard me mention it before that we've adopted, well, for the past few years, it was 15 veterans from the Virginia Veterans Care Center. This year, we had 22 veterans. So we did our shopping for Toys for Tots, and we did our shopping for the vets. All in all, we spent $605 for this, and it was really a good cause, because I know you've heard me say it before, but I'm going to say it again. The vets over there, the majority of them, all they really want is people to talk to, because on the list that was sent to me by their activities director, it was the last thing under each one of their names. So if you ever do have the opportunity to go over to the care center, go over there, check in at the front desk, hang out with the vets, because there's no doubt in my mind that they would appreciate it. And again, I met a vet over there a couple years ago who was a Roanoke native. After his wife passed, his children put him in there. He has 4 children, still in the local area. He said he can count on one hand how many visits he's had from them. And that's sad if you think about it. You know, we all have family and friends that we can call. You know, things like that are very important. The last thing I'll say is remember, 22 veterans a day commit suicide. That statistic doesn't seem like it's dropping any. Yes, Roy.
Ms. Lowe, that was here the other night, she said it was 42.
Yeah, that number has gone up to 42, Ken.
Wow.
A lot of those people were miscategorized, and once they went through and redid everything, it's up to 42 a day.
42 a day. That's even worse. That's even worse. You know, besides here, you know, we all have veteran friends, veteran family members or something. Pay attention. They might be throwing out small little hints that the average person on the street might not pick up. But we as veterans would be able to pick up one or two of them. Pay attention to them because we're losing them at an extremely alarming rate. So, thank you.
Ninth of January, Dick is going to, Richard Small, Commander Small is going to have lead the bingo there at the VA hospital. What time is that, Dick? 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock on Ward 7-2, Building 7-2,
6 o'clock on
Building 7.
Building 7, second floor? Okay. He needs help, so if you want to volunteer and help him out on the bingo, just see Commander Small after the meeting, and he will be glad to explain everything to you and tell you what goes on. We have sent out all the oratorical packets to all the schools, but we have not had a very good response. I think we've only had one tentative kid from Cave Spring. I'll call the district commander tomorrow and see what if they've had any response from the district at all, to know if we're going to have a district oratorical here. Once again, I don't mean to be harping on it, but we do need to get a new commander, vice commander, second vice, finance officer. I think she's going to stay. I think Brian's going to stay, right? Brian's going to stay. Okay. Matt, you going to still? Okay, Matt's going to stay. What about you over there on the end? You going to stay on?
Since you're leaving, yes.
Have your wife take care of you. Keep that dog in there.
Good time.
Put a good leash on it. That was good though, I appreciate that. It's good to have a good laugh every now and then. Dick, you have anything else?
No. Basically, if nobody else will step up, I will do the commander for one more year after.
Okay, Commander Small has just has decided that he will take over the commander for one more year. So if anybody else wants to get in there also, just let me or Commander Small know, and we'd be glad to tell you what all is involved, because there's a lot involved to it. So we will start working on or I will start working on the budget for 2024, so we'll know where we are and what we're doing for the next coming year. Anything else? Anybody else have anything?
Can he say something about the tattoo that'll start in January?
Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm not exactly new anymore. I guess I've been here now for about 6 months. Some of you met me, some of you haven't. I'm former Marine crayon eater like Brian. I lead a Tai Chi program Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. It's for the whole community. Vets are free, donation-based, whatever fits your budget for vets. And so just keep your eye out on the announcements. We'll get some details out about it. There's like a little registration. We try to keep track of who's coming and what the attendance looks like. But we'll be kicking that off like January 13th. That Saturday. So we usually meet indoors if it's cold. If it's warm enough, we practice outside in the pavilion. So we'd love to have you with us. We've got a good crew. We've got 3 vets, including myself, lots of community members, some spouses of vets, but we'd love to have you all too. So think about joining us. And if you don't know what Tai Chi is, it's just a very gentle exercise and breath work. Kind of, some people call it moving meditation. So it's not strenuous. You can do it in a chair if you need to. So it's really suitable for people with of all levels of conditions. So, thank you.
Okay, as always, hang around. Fire Marshal is here. He's here to talk about Christmas safety. And as always, stick around to help us take everything down and get the hall back ready for tomorrow. Chaplain will lead us in prayer. Please uncover.
Definitely want to thank you again for being our unseen guests this evening. We appreciate your presence all year long, not just one night. Lord, I pray that you'll bless each and every one and go our separate ways and make it a safe return home. And be with us at the next appointed time. We're thankful for all that you do for us. And we pray that you guide and direct us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please recover. And salute. 2. Now declare this meeting of Post 3 adjourned. Fire Marshal. Oh, 50-50, I'm sorry.
There's $51 to the winner against 25.
Last 4 numbers 2658. 2658. Anybody? Somebody has to have it.
I've got it.
Oh, Commander Small. All right. All right. I'd like to introduce the Fire Marshal for the City of Salem, Robert Paxton.
Good evening, everybody. How everybody doing? Good. So we were asked, our office was asked to come out to do some home safety for the holidays. So this is Captain Tom Bedwell, who's my deputy fire marshal for the city, and we're going to talk to you briefly about home safety. Here tonight.
So, probably want to
So this time of year, when everybody is busy decorating, getting ready for Christmas, so that's one thing we wanted to talk about. So what do we use a lot of? Extension cords, that's right. So we want to just pass this along. This is one of Chief Paxton's favorite cords right here.
So you know what I call these? These are what I call great fire starters. So if
These
you have
are-
these in your home, that is exactly what it is. So these, I call these great fire starters. So I'm gonna pass this around. So that what this is a very thin gauge wire that a lot of people use in their house.
But as you can see here, they're very thin gauge. What happens, what we get to do at Christmas time, and I'm using that as an example, we plug the extension cord into another extension cord, and then into another extension cord, so we can make our full lighting display work. But things to think about too is whether you're using these extension cords indoor or outdoor. So there is a difference in ratings on those extension cords. So you want to make sure that you have a proper extension cord, whether it's indoor, outdoor, or an outdoor only, and proper gauge wire. You got to think about what you're. I'm walking around everywhere. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
So those are important things there. And that's why we want to pass that around, because we do see a lot of these type of extension cords in our fire investigations when we do have fires. So that's what we call our fire stars, because they're so thin, people overload them. And that's the important thing. The other important thing is with extension cords and power strips is having, think about using a power strip that has a breaker on it and what you're plugging into those devices. So
Real quick, with that cord right there, do you think you want to plug up the refrigerator with that little extension cord? Yeah. So what do you think happens to that cord?
Burn up.
Okay, so typically, what happens in a lot of homes is misappropriation of misuse of electrical cords, putting the wrong size appliance on the wrong type of cord. So what typically happens is these cords get overheated and will cause the ignition source for a fire. So that's why we try to educate you a little bit on the proper cords in use for these devices. Anybody got any questions as far as extension cords? So what's something else we shouldn't do? We shouldn't run them underneath the carpets. I mean, you may have any extension cords underneath the carpets? No. Okay. You should. Typically what happens if they are, you kind of step on them, it breaks down the wiring material, then it also causes it to cause a short and create another point for ignition to short out and ground out and cause a fire. So with that, what are the two main causes of fires typically in a home that we kind of think about? Electrical is one, and the other one's what? No, it's another one. Another good one. The second biggest one is unattended cooking.
The candles is another fire hazard.
Yep. So Todd will tell you a little bit about cooking and safety and what we should need to do with that.
Don't take a nap while you got a fly in the oven?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too, so.
how many of you have fire extinguishers in your home? Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Where do you keep them at? Where at in the kitchen?
Where by the door?
I keep mine by the stove.
Okay. Good.
How many of them have them underneath the sink? Are they in the front or back?
Right.
Typically, a lot of them, believe it or not, we see them, they're actually tucked all the way to the back and just forgot about.
Yeah.
So in a true emergency, if we need that fire extinguisher, can we get to it? And do we know where it's at? These are things to think about, because typically we don't think about them until we need them, right?
Other important things to have in the kitchen, this wooden spoon. It's good to beat people with too. Keep your grandchildren straight, daughter, kid, whatever. But these wooden spoons are great for moving stuff so you don't burn yourself. Of course, you gotta have these too. Your mitts. How else, when you're cooking, do you want all the handles sticking out? No, put them to the back, out of the way.
So how many of y'all set a timer when you cook?
I do now.
90% of the time.
So as we get older, and of course I'm in that range too, we get busy with our life, we got stuff in the oven, on the stove, or things happen and
get that phone call and you're in there cooking, you walk out of the room, you forget about what you're doing in there.
So one of the things too, you can also set your timer, but you can also put something in your hand, okay? Like me, I forget what the hell I got this in my hand for, but typically you'd have this and kind of think, well, you got something on the stove. You walk out the kitchen, you carry this with you, carry something to remind you still got something in the kitchen. Something to trigger the fact that we got something in the oven. I'd probably forget I stick in my pocket or forget it. But there again, as we get older, we kind of forget when things kind of tend us to go another way. But cooking fires is one of the main reasons that for residential fires we see too, between electrical and cooking fires. So.
So another thing is we tend to use a lot of these different type plugs and not use them in their exact intent of how they're designed. One thing, this is a multi-plug that you can plug in your regular receptacle. So what happens with these? They get overloaded. Okay, and I have one here that I'll pass around. I was doing an inspection, and this one was plugged in an office setting. Matter of fact, hospital office setting. And the lady, when I walked into the office, I could smell something burning. She goes, "Yeah, I noticed that, but I don't know what it is." Well, I was looking, because I'm going to do that. It's my nature. And I find, and I could smell it, and I said, "I think I found the problem." And this one was just overloaded from the device she had a heater plugged into this. It was underneath her desk, and they draw a lot of amps. So that's the other important thing is when you're using, whether it's these extension cords, the tire strips, think about what you're using because you can overload those. You want to make sure they're within the range of what they're designed for. But this is a good example right here because this one was getting ready to fail completely and catch on fire. So pay attention to these type of devices. Another thing is some of these you buy them in the Dollar Tree and different places. A lot of times this UL sticker is just placed there. It had never been tested. Unfortunately, that's the way things like that are being done. But buying good quality, whatever electrical devices you're buying, make sure you're buying good quality versus something that's maybe not been officially UL tested. Because they go through a lot of requirements when they do go through UL testing to make them safe for you and your home.
So how often are we supposed to check our smoke detectors?
Every 6 months.
Supposed to be every time the time change, twice a year. Okay, so that's one way to remember it. So for everybody that lives in the city of Salem who can afford a smoke detector, if you need one for your residence, you live within the city of Salem, we will provide you with free smoke detectors through the American Red Cross program. So same thing for outlying jurisdictions, City of Roanoke, Roanoke County. There again, if you live in those jurisdictions and you need a smoke detector, all you gotta do is make a request and they'll come out and install it for you.
Does Botetourt do that too?
Excuse me?
Does Botetourt do that too?
They may be part of the program of Botetourt also. You just have to call and ask them as far as their fire prevention office.
Now, will they hardwire them too?
No, they will not. These are 10-year lithium replacement batteries. So these will last 10 years. So that whole span, the life of that smoke detector, once that's 10 years is up, then you get rid of it anyway. So if your smoke detectors are older than 10 years and they actually have a manufacture date on them, they should be replaced. So when you change your smoke detector, when you smoke the batteries in it, check the date of manufacture. If it's older than 10 years, then they need to be replaced regardless. Yeah, so if you never knew that, now you do.
And even if you have the hardwired, make sure you're replacing your batteries now as well.
That chirping will drive you.
Yeah, the chirping will drive
So how many of you guys have gas appliances in your home? So does any of y'all have carbon monoxide detectors?
Yep.
Okay. I recommend that, because if you don't, it's good to have, because they're, yes, sir.
Is the 10-year on the carbon dioxide detectors also?
They make them that way, but what the Red Cross gives away for the free installs are the 10-year battery smoke detectors.
Well, I'm talking about the carbon dioxide.
They make those too for that.
Okay.
Depends on which brand you buy.
Yeah, that's a new feature that just recently come out, so you have to look for a certain manufacturer that does have that 10-year battery.
So something else to talk about. Does everybody know 2 ways to get out of their house?
Yep.
And we do this with youth and education, but also as seniors, we also want to make sure that we can get out of our house if something happens, especially in a fire emergency. So there again, make sure you have clear means of egress to be able to get out of your home.
So if you're upstairs and the fire's down the hallway, whatever, is there like a ladder? I've seen there's ladders that you can use.
So they do sell the escape ladders, like at Lowe's, Home Depot. So those are other ways. You may have an exit that takes you down a set of steps from your upstairs, depending on how your house is or where you live. So always know more than one way to get out, because if that way's blocked, that's the important. And let me change. Right now it's getting colder. Some people use alternate ways to heat in their homes, whether it's a wood stove, I've seen kerosene heaters, propane heaters. So you want to use some caution. We came across this last year. This is a little buddy propane heater that this family was using a regular propane bottle that you would hook up to your gas grill to heat their house.
So what are
with
we got some thoughts. What using propane or gas fired appliance? What do you think it builds up in the house?
Carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
They have
So these aren't intended for indoor use. These were pretty much for outdoor use. But in their mind, they just looked at a heat source.
Right.
So you have to educate yourself on knowing the proper heating device for what you're trying to do.
Now they're selling the buddy heater propane that rated or safe. They're good for indoor or outdoor use.
They say that?
Yes.
That's not.
No, not the big canisters. I'm talking about they come in the low balls.
Right. But the
It's
problem
cool.
is they're buying a heat conversion kit
Yeah.
and hook into these propane.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. Yeah. But the little buddy itself with a normal cylinder, little what's a pound or whatever, 16 ounce, they are safe. Are they safe?
So let me put you this way. There's a place for it, but sometimes what happens in your home, people get it too close to combustible material, the couch, chairs, clothing. There again, let's talk about holding conditions. Sometimes there might be a lot of stuff in the house itself, which becomes an ignition source, which is a fuel for a big fire.
Right.
So there again, it's about having a safe distance and a proper heating device for what you're trying to do. Yeah. So part of this is just from a situational awareness to think about what potential hazards and if something happened in your house, could you get out or could you take care of the situation?
Because whatever type of extra heating device you're using or whatever, you want to make sure you at least have a minimum of 3 feet clearance from combustible. Same thing, people, I don't know how much is used now, but for wood stoves and fireplaces, but that's great that you can have that alternative use and provide heat, but you want to make sure that you keep that flue clean at least once a year, have it checked or cleaned. And then these other devices, make sure you get something that is safe. And like we talked, because this manufacturer says it's safe indoor, outdoor,
read the fine print in their brochure, because I did a lot of research, because last year we had 2 fires resulting from those buddy devices. And they were unfortunate what happened. And I don't, we go out and investigate these, but we don't want to see people displaced. They give us a hard time in the firehouses that me and Paxton are the fire haters, but we don't want to see people lose their homes or lose valuables, and that's why we come out here and do what we do, is we want to educate.
Yes, sir.
Cover the thing for dryer vents. A lot of people just go off and leave their dryer vent, walk out of the house and leave them running.
Right. So, and to bring that up, my wife hates it, because if she's drying clothes and we're going to go somewhere, I said, go up there and turn that dryer off. But I got clothes. I'm like, I don't care. Yes, it's a big thing with me is, if you're going to be doing clothes, you need to stay with them. I don't know how many times I've come home and they're drying clothes, and I'm like, something just don't sound right with the dryer. Go in there and the lint is full. It needs to, that stuff, it can just ignite so quick. And if you're not maintaining it, even vacuuming it out, cleaning out your tubing at least once a year, because that stuff builds up. And depending on what type of dryer sheet you use can make a difference on how much that fine particles are in there. So that's a very important thing. Me personally, I'm not leaving the house while the dryer's on. Same thing if we're cooking, we're staying in the kitchen.
I know with our dryer vent, the washer and dryer's in the basement in the back section. But the vent itself, because it's an older home, built in the 70s, early 70s, is like up here. So I'm running the hose from down here at floor level,
Right.
all the way up. And I clean that out at the same time I want to change the air filter in my heater, or AC.
Yeah.
Same time. Because I got me a note written on the drywall on the inside of the dryer.
It's good to give yourself a note to
Yeah.
remind you, because like I said, we get so wrapped up to day-to-day stuff, we forget simple stuff.
Yes, sir.
Have you had any or much trouble with the oil-filled little heaters, the electric heater, but it's oil?
It's got
like
oil.
radiator?
No. I have not.
What about electric heaters? Any electric, I know people buy little things like this tile, put that heater in the middle of
To answer that, so a lot of those have safety features on them. So there again, if they was to trip or if they turn over, they turn themselves off. So there again, you're talking about maybe some of the older ones that does not have those cutoff features. Yeah, I would deter away from those, but yeah.
Yeah, any of the newer stuff has the safety features, and that's what you want, because they'll turn off after so long when they're on. They have a timer on them. They'll turn off automatically after a certain amount of time. Plus, if you tip them or bump them, they automatically shut off.
I know my wife has one of those big heaters, because for some reason, especially this time of the year, she likes it 900 degrees in the house. I sleep with a window open on my side. But, I finally got her in the habit, even though it has one of those trip measures. But, it's probably that tall. She unplugs it every night. Because me personally, I just don't trust it. I know the features are built into it, but, I finally got her in the habit of unplugging it.
So how many smokers do we have in here? Anybody still smokes? So someone brought it up, cigarettes. So we have seen our fair share of incidents that were caused by discarded cigarette butts or misdiscarded. And then the other one was unattended candles, a lot of candle and then forget about it. So we've seen those in a couple different apartment complexes. We've had fires caused just by candles, and they forgot about it. And
went to the store, come back, and what are you doing here? On the way out of fire.
Or if they have a cat.
Yes, that's the other thing. And especially this time of year, a lot of people will decorate, they'll be burning candles and stuff, and that's an important thing to keep that away from the different type of decorations and combustibles that you have for your decorations. And pets, cats, dogs, because they can accidentally knock one of those over and then it takes off. The other important thing too is, with the Christmas lights and everything, is you need to take the time to turn all those off at night. A lot of people, they put those same lights up every year, but they don't check the cords, look for frays. How do you attach them? Are you using nails to put the wires up, or are you using some type of hanger? Because you can damage that wire, and then over time, bam, you got a fire.
One thing I'm gonna leave at the ending is, how many of y'all have a clear address on your house? How many can actually see it from the road?
Well, you can't even see my house from the road, but it is visible from my
Okay.
mailbox.
So one of the biggest problems too is there again, we get dispatched out to a call, is we're going down the street, we're on the right street, but we can't see the right house number. And without your house numbers being posted clearly from the roadway, it delays our response. So there again, if you don't have a clear address, I would say make sure you have a clear address on your house so that we can get to you quicker in an emergency. So, but everything we discussed tonight is all situation awareness and for you guys not to lose your life or property from an accident.
Do y'all still look for signs on the window for children?
So they stopped that program only because people were using it for bad things. So there again, yep.
Like for somebody in there crippled or something?
So part of that too is having a relationship with your fire department, because there again for us, we know that we have a disabled person who cannot do self-preservation or get out. We actually do a marker with dispatch, knowing that we have someone that potentially could be trapped into the residence. So that's part of communicating to our dispatch center and making notes for that address. Yeah.
What about people that are on oxygen?
So good thing. So we've seen a lot of incidents of that too. And what we have seen is there again, people on O2, they also have picked the bad habit of still maintaining a smoking habit. So we've seen a lot of incidents with that. But they clearly mark the doorway as far as if somebody is on oxygen. They're again being responsible with ignition sources so that there isn't an incident with that. So, any other questions, concerns, anything we can help you out, get in the right direction about?
You mentioned about the address on your house, but the address on your mailbox, basically?
It can, but if your mailbox is in a row, a bunch of them, we don't know which one goes to which house.
Better to have it on the house.
Yes.
Best to have it on both. Have it on the house and your mailbox, but
I got it on the curb.
yeah. The biggest thing is, I'll use this as an example. I happen to be working overtime this weekend, and we got called from mutual aid out in Roanoke County, but we ended up being the first truck there, and there's a row of mailboxes, and they're not in order of how the addresses were, and they just had the numbers on them. Well, each of those houses were set back off the roadway down a driveway that you couldn't see the house because it's set so far back. So luckily, I pulled up the GIS because we're trying to decide real quick, and was able to determine which one it was. But even when we got down to the house, there was no address on the house. All we just had is numbers on these mailboxes at the top of the road, which makes it difficult, especially when they called out for a working fire. Luckily, the gentleman was able to put the fire out with 2 fire extinguishers and a 5-gallon bucket of water, but it could have been bad. Plus, we couldn't get a truck into the driveway either because of it being so narrow and steep. Wasn't no way to get a big fire truck down there to the house.
Got a question. Residential fire extinguishers, how often do we need to get them inspected or replaced?
So we treat them just like we would here. When we
Yep.
come here and do the inspection here, we look for a yearly tag. And there again, we're not expecting you to go get your tag for residential, but we require that in commercial structure. But I would say you at least look every year, look at it every month, and make sure it's in the green, make sure it's got a positive charge to it, and turn it upside down, and so the powder doesn't settle at the bottom of the extinguisher.
look up some red ones, but I do have a white one for my kitchen too.
Yeah, and just make sure that the gauges are in green. Yep.
Really, and I know there's when I had a business out in Bonnettage, there was a, company that came out and did my inspections, and I believe they said they do residential too, so there is.
So how many of y'all know the acronym of PASS?
Say that again.
PASS. You know what PASS is on a fire extinguisher? All right, so
Accessibility.
I'm gonna show you real quick how to use a fire extinguisher if you've never used one.
Pull, aim,
Squeeze,
squeeze, and squeeze.
Ah,
Pointed at the base of the fire.
that's a big.
That's a big fire extinguisher y'all in here.
All right, so we're gonna show you, just demonstrate you on what to do if you have one of these fire extinguishers. Not so much this big one, but at your house.
We'll make sure it's safe.
So like Chief Paxton's talking, you want to make sure you look at this gauge right here, make sure it's in the green, okay?
I'll let you know that it's ready to go. Green means go, right?
This is the pin, so this thing is secured in here with this wire strap, so you can't squeeze it right now because this pin's in here. What you would do is, first thing you do is you pull this pin out, okay? And then right here is the base of my fire. I'm gonna aim. And then this top handle, I'm using the carry handle right here. This is where you carry it from, this bottom handle, okay? And then this top handle is what you're going to squeeze, and then you're going to sweep side to side at the base of that fire.
So that's the acronym of PASS. So
All fire extinguishers are the same.
yes, sir. Now this one is an all-purpose extinguisher. It's pretty much what you want to have in your home because it does everything from ordinary combustibles to electrical fires to flammable liquids. So this is what they call an all-purpose ABC fire extinguisher, and this is kind of what you want in your home. So this will handle anything from electrical fires to a grease fire.
This is a good size extinguisher. So,
Yeah.
what you might want in your home is half the size of this.
Finish the pass.
PASS. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Sweep.
Pull, aim,
Sweep,
So if
sweep.
we brought in our extinguisher from home to the firehouse, you guys do an inspection for it.
Now say it again.
If we brought in our extinguishers from home, would you guys do an inspection on them, or?
Yeah, we don't, they're only done by third party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are fire extinguishers good for electrical fires or?
Them type bars, that's an
regular
ABC, that's an all-purpose. Yep.
wood stuff burning?
So that's good for wood, electrical, and grease. You don't want to use water on the electrical fire, do you? No, that'd make a big old mess too.
Don't want it on the fire.
Mama would be pissed.
So the big thing with those is dry chems, they do make a mess. And once you discharge those things, you'll know it. Yep. So we've covered a lot tonight. There again, it's a lot to think about, but there again, bring it up to the forefront of, situation awareness. And that's why we do this. So,
Make sure you have working smoke detectors. Make sure you have more than one way out of your residence. I always say make sure you have fire extinguisher. At least have one in your residence.
and for ones of y'all that are within the city or the jurisdiction I told you, y'all need a smoke detector, call our office. We'll come put one in your house for you.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Can you have a fire extinguisher on each level of your house if you have a multi-level house?
You should, but there again, being able to have at least one to know where it is. But there again, if you can put one on each level, that's great.
Yeah.
Same thing with smoke detectors. So you want one on each floor, at least.
Any other questions?
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming over.
Yeah.
Greatly appreciate
Well, I want
it.
to thank y'all for inviting me.
Throughout the year, anytime y'all need us to come out or even we actually can do a fire extinguisher class for you guys if y'all want one. So there again, just call us, we'll set it up and we'll teach your members or the crew to do that. So
If I want something or need something, I'm gonna call.
Ken's pretty good at calling me. He said, "Hey, let's see what's going on." So yeah. So
I appreciate what you guys do, and, anything we can do to help you guys, please reach out to us.
Thank you very much.
See what you got in there.